What up, everybody? We got a show we're going to go over tonight with some stuff. Got some things to talk about. So share this out while you're all here. See you guys all coming in here now. I see the comments. So share this out. We're going to cover some topics. We're not going to have a long show like we did last week. That was a 2-hour show, completely unplanned. This week, not that much. First, I don't know if you were first free. I guess you were. Your other page was first. What up, J-Rib? Yeah, so let's go over some things. I share this out. We're gonna talk about some of the bullshit that we always have going on with the government and just being stupid. We have Jimmy Kimmel shit going on with the media networks and people claiming the FCC had something to do with it, which they may, and we're gonna touch on that because it's a possibility. It's going to be up to your interpretation, but we're going to touch on it. We'll go over the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. We got to touch on a lot of the stuff that we're hearing about Ryan Routh and what he was convicted of yesterday, or convicted yesterday. And so he had that whole fiasco, and he also tried to take his own life in the courtroom with a pen. That was interesting. I wish we had a camera in the courtroom so we could see that. I find it kind of weird, right? Like, why don't we have cameras in every courtroom? Right? Why don't we? Especially with how all of these cases are going lately. I would really like to have a camera in every courtroom, but I know there's probably laws in some states that go against it, all of that stuff. But I would really like it. I would like to watch what's going on, and we can see that instead of take everything for people's words. We got to touch on Ryan Routh's daughter, like her temper tantrum outside of the courthouse, leaving. Somehow she thinks the whole thing is a lie. Weird. And then last but not least, on the show, well, actually, we got a couple things still left to touch on. The left is freaking nuts, and this is going to cover a couple things. Because the left doing exactly what they did with Charlie Kirk won't load. That's Facebook. That's why a lot of us are getting away from Facebook. It's awful. But when it comes down to all of this garbage that we're running into with the left, you have what happened with Charlie Kirk. Then you had another shooting today that was done. They engraved anti-ice into the bullets. Didn't take out any officers, but did still take a life. When is this going to stop? And it's crazy. The other stuff that we're going to touch on is around the same stuff. Is the Atlantic released an article talking about the left-wing terrorism, and it's weird to see that in mainstream news because everybody blames right wing for their violence. Everybody blames all of us for those things, because we support the Second Amendment. We support the freedom of speech. We support the Constitution. And so we get criticized for some of these things. But when you look at some of the stuff the left is doing, it's crazy. Like, why is Ryan Routh going to be in prison for the rest of his life? Because he tried to assassinate the leading presidential candidate in the 2024 election while he was golfing on his own golf course. It's insane. And then this guy can't be healthy and normal. Ryan Routh, he tried to take his life. And then we have stuff with Nick Shirley, and I'm going to show Nick Shirley's video that he released just a little bit ago. It's not even mentioned in the description, but Nick Shirley was at a protest in New York, I believe. And these people are insane. I can't even show you the whole clip. He posted it on X, and I'll repost it. But I can't show you the whole thing because of what this crazy lady is doing. She is a nut job. And these are the type of people that are coming from the left, or at least are paid by the left, because you don't see this crap being done anywhere else. There's videos showing after Charlie Kirk was shot, like what those guys were screaming at what they thought was the shooter, and it really wasn't the shooter. It was somebody else, but they weren't going violent or anything. They were just saying, come and shoot me, come and take me, like just calling him out. But the right is very different. We didn't go burn down the cities after that happened. Everybody came together. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. There's a few people that even stopped talking to me over that, because you can't unify with anybody. And that's going to be where we're going to end, is the messaging that people are pushing around, oh, you can't unify because of what JD Vance says. While I don't disagree with what JD Vance is saying, I think people are taking it way too far. And that's going to further divide this country and make it even harder to win elections in the future. And that's where we'll end. So that's the outline of the show today, guys. It's crazy to think that some of the stuff that we're going through right now, and we've only had Donald Trump as president for 8 months. 8 months, and we have this chaos already, and we got 3 years more. 3 more years of this, and we better buckle up and get in order with everybody, and unite with the people that we can see eye to eye with on most topics, not all. But we really need to start bringing people together that we mostly agree with. It's going to be really needed at this point. When you further divide, you make it very difficult to win any battle. All right, let's jump into this, guys. Let's jump into this. How do you unite? And you're one of them, bud. We're going to talk about it because you and I have had this conversation in the comments. Dead Prez. We'll talk about it because that's what I'm talking about. How do you unite with those? And let's just jump into that, guys. We're just going to do that. How do you unite with those that want to turn us into Europe? You realize what you're doing. You're saying those. You're not being specific. If you want to say the left because you don't agree eye to eye with them almost everything, yeah, it's probably not going to work on your Facebook, guys. It's just what it's going to be. I'm going to stop posting on Facebook because this is just stupid. Everybody complains about it. I know you do, buddy, and it's mutual. But the part we have to start talking about is when it comes to uniting with those. You have to unite with those that you agree majority with. So 60, 70, 80% with. Unite with those people. But when it comes to, like, for example, you and I disagree very strongly on Thomas Massie, but we probably agree on many other things. There should be no reason that because I support Thomas Massie and I agree with Thomas Massie and back a lot of his decisions, there's no reason why we shouldn't be supporting and moving in a unified fashion of making sure the government is protecting our country, protecting us, not taking away our rights, even though we don't see eye to eye on mostly like maybe a handful of topics. That is where you need to start uniting, is with those people. Because guess what? When you're trying to unite with everybody that agrees with everything you say, you're getting into single digits. You're not going to unite with enough people to move in a movement and make any difference in this country. You have to start letting people have their own opinions and unite with them. You can't shut them down, block them, and get rid of them just because you disagree on one topic. I've had several people do that to me, especially since JD Vance had his little speech. While, like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying, but everybody's taking it way too damn far. Way too damn far. We have to find ways to support each other and back each other, because guess what? If we get divided really far, there's no fixing this country. There's no fixing the government. And we're almost to that point already, but we can't make that worse. That's the whole point. Now, when it comes to uniting, it's finding like-minded people that you mostly agree with and understand you aren't going to see eye to eye on everything. And that's okay. That's what makes America great. We're not supposed to all be the same. If we are all supposed to be the same and think the exact same way and be the exact same person, that is North Korea. So we have to find ways to unite around that. And so we're starting off the show a little bit backwards, but that's what I was talking about with uniting, is we have to find ways to support each other, back each other, and grow our communities. We will never see eye to eye on every single topic. Don't let one topic or one subject cause you to separate and divide even further to where it puts the government more in power. You have the control, you have the power, as long as you're uniting with fellow Americans and moving in a unified direction. So just keep that in mind. That's a lot of what I'm talking about when it comes to uniting. I don't mean you go over the left and unite with all of them. There is a bunch of people on the left that have views that I still talk with them. I'm friends with them. Also, I have no problem. I respect that they have different views. There's nothing wrong with that. They can have their own views, but we don't have to see eye to eye. The biggest thing is we can joke about things and have a conversation, and eventually people start coming around and realizing we're a lot more aligned than you realize. A lot. But when you separate just on one topic, we're going to be doomed, guys. We're doomed. If you're going to find just one topic, that's all it takes for you to separate with somebody and not talk with them anymore, that's really bad. It's really bad. That's letting the government win. And I don't care who you voted for as a president, all of that. You guys all know me. But you can't be pushing that far. You have to be allowing for some disagreements. But there's a lot of comments coming in. I see you guys. Free says, who is worried about Europe? Our social is bankrupting our country. No, Free, what he was referring to is turning us into Europe, like with no borders, and bringing people in, a bunch of Muslims in that are not helping our country in any way, and stuff like that. That's generally the point there. Because I do agree. I don't like the way Europe is going. You just go look at the disasters they have. They are running into all kinds of issues because they're allowing everybody freely to come into their country. They're not checking or vetting them. They're just freely coming in. It's causing major issues. And then let alone the other government issues that they deal with over there. But Terry says it's okay to disagree on things. Just join with those that you can on specific issues, then respect the differences. It isn't that painful. Big facts, Terry. Big facts. Like, that's my thing. Like, we got to be talking about these things and our differences, because that's also what Charlie was promoting, right? As soon as we start ending up silent or in your echo chamber, like, I'm adding echo chamber, but because Charlie always said, as soon as you stop talking, that's when violence starts. But if you end up in your echo chamber, you're never talking. And that's what everybody keeps trying to get to on social media, is their damn echo chamber. Stop doing that. Listen to somebody to understand their point of view, and you can just say, I don't agree. I do it all the time. Then people still block me, but whatever. People are weird. But we have to find reasons to unite with those that we see eye to eye with on most topics. because we are stronger by numbers. If you get down to where you're picking and choosing very small groups of numbers of people, the government won every time. They will win. J. Riv, I don't think I can get along with people pushing them. Yeah, and that's fine. You don't have to necessarily get along. You just respect that they disagree with you, man. Yeah, you disagree with them. It's fine. You don't have to necessarily get along. It's their choice. And abortion, I'll warn you, government is using abortion to cause more division in this country so they can control more people. That is exactly what the government's done. They did it with gay marriage until the Supreme Court overruled it and did it. So they had to pick another topic, and they do it with cannabis and marijuana all the time. And so they just move on to another topic to further that becomes the biggest topic to push division on. It's the way the government's set up, is to brainwash you. Uniting only matters if it is against the corrupt government. Facts free. Facts. Hey, Jeanette. Well, I'm live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Every Wednesday. I'm here. Facebook sucks, though. So that's probably why I'm mostly on X. But all right, let's get into this. Let's get into Sinclair and Next Gear. What is it called? What is Next Star? That's right. So Sinclair Media Group, News Group, they are not bringing Jimmy Kimmel back, and same with Next Star Media Group. They are not bringing Jimmy Kimmel back. Both of those, they're ABC network media companies, and they're not going to bring Jimmy Kimmel back. We got to talk about Jimmy Kimmel because the FCC made the chair of FCC, Brandon Carr, however you say his name, he said some empty threats because I don't see them pulling it. But he implied that they would pull licensing from people if they're backing Charlie Kirk. That's, in my opinion, not the FCC's role. The FCC doesn't need to be regulating on stuff like that. You need to allow those organizations to do those things. Those organizations can manage their people. Those organizations can separate from Jimmy Kimmel if they choose. The FCC should have no say in it because Jimmy Kimmel can say what he wants. Now, if the network wants to do it on their own, that's their choice. We do not need the FCC to go around and do this because as soon as you allow the FCC chair to do it now, because we have Trump in office and that's okay, you're going to have it done even worse when a liberal gets in as a president and we get a different FCC chair that may be more liberal. They'll do it to the other side. That is exactly what the government does every time. Look at it. Look at the FBI. You guys have heard me complain about the FBI. That's just the current administration's bullies. That's all they're utilized for, is to go against the narrative that they're trying to push. They're trying to take out the people that are trying to push against the narrative that the current administration is doing. That's always what the FBI does. Pam Bondi is useless. She's not doing jack crap. So you can't count on anything getting done with her around. But when it comes down to the government, we can't be allowing the FCC to be making statements like that. Yes, it is public. Yes, it is on the TV, but I don't agree with that regulation in general. I think it should be all open, allow that the free market to control it. And then that way you let those people decide on how it all goes. And guess what? No one watched Jimmy Kimmel anyways. What was the statistics? 127,000 viewers. I don't get that many viewers, but there's a lot of YouTubers that get more viewers than that. And Jimmy Kimmel can't even pull that on a big network that is free across this country. Jimmy Kimmel is irrelevant, but everybody was so annoyed that he got back his show yesterday. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he got a show back. We got to get back on track and start focusing on the shit that matters. When I realized this yesterday, when I had a second to go scroll through X, my first post right after was, I don't care if he got a show back. Can we focus on the corruption in the government and fix our government? That was our whole goal with this election, is to fix the government, not to get distracted and go down these rabbit holes with these things. Let's not do that. Let's focus on the government and the corruption. regardless who is in power, there's always corruption in government. Look at the stupid White House, not White House, the freaking Capitol right now. The House and the Senate, they're now waving it in our face. Oh, we might shut down the government. Do this whole shit show again, guys. This is what the government does to you because they don't care about you. Congress doesn't give a shit about you. And so when they shut down the government, of course, I'll be celebrating it because it's nice. Hey, at least they're not spending our money. We really need to focus and maintain moving in a direction to clean up our government. And that's where our energy should be spent. We don't want to be focused on Jimmy Kimmel and his show. You advertised him more than anybody else in his company trying to market his show. You advertised more for him by talking about him getting his show back and how stupid it is. You're falling for the game that they want you to fall for. So stop doing it. I know it's hard, especially guys, as the right struggles, the right struggles to really bind together and just not do something. Like the first time they did it was Bud Light and it was great, but they can't do it consistently. If you could just be like, not even talk about Jimmy Kimmel, if no one posted shit about it and it didn't get any buzz and it wasn't actually trending on social media, he might not have had a show for very long. It might have got canceled anyways because very few people would have heard about it. But because the right ran with it and was still talking about it, it was free marketing. Free marketing. And that's what Trump does best. Trump does that like no other. Why do you think he has Trump 2028 hats? He doesn't mean that. He doesn't believe that he's going to run in 2028. That guy probably wants just to go play golf and retire and just be done. He doesn't want to deal with a whole other term. I'm sure of that. But he puts that out there because the media runs with it and goes crazy because it controls them. He does that all the time. And then the right falls for it when something like Jimmy Kimmel gets a show back. They just keep going with it. Got to do better. You're being played by the government all the time and you keep falling for it. Just stop. That's what I know it's easy for me to say, but you guys, that's what we got to do. And I know there's a lot of you guys in here, libertarians, that are just like, yeah, whatever. We don't do that. But libertarians, we have our own shit to deal with too. But we got to do better instead of falling for all of the government bullshit that we fall for. Everybody falls for it for some reason. It's insane. But overall, the stance with Jimmy Kimmel, I don't really care if he got a show back. I don't care if any of that happened. I wanted to talk about the FCC and all of these things. There's even Cassandra, if you're in the comments, I haven't seen you in here yet, but you tagged me asking, did the FCC really put pressure? Well, there was kind of a threat that was made on TV. I can't remember if it was TV or podcast initially, but that they will pull their license. And I don't agree with that. Ultimately, ABC should be able to address it how they want, but it is what it is. No one watches his show, so just let it go. Some got to have those clicks. I agree, Terry. I agree. There are so many people that want to be famous on the internet, and I will tell you that I'm not famous, but it surely looks overrated because everybody is either in your comments either pissed off at you because you did something wrong, or you have the other people pissed off at you because you have different political views. Like, being famous and all of that shit that comes with being on the internet is not worth it. Anybody that wants to do it, it's just not worth it. I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't care about Jimmy Kimmel whatsoever. There you go, Chelly. Yeah, it's not cancel culture. There's boycotts. I'm good with boycotts. That's capitalism at its best. But when it comes down to cancel culture, no, we don't need to be canceling. We don't need to be doing that. Like Bud Light, they did it to themselves. They turned on their consumers and their customers. They turned on them. And so people just stopped buying the beer. It's that simple. That's what you should do. You watch Jimmy Kimmel and you're mad what he said, turn it off. Watch somebody else. But chances are you're left if you're watching Jimmy Kimmel. I used to like to watch him a Scientific mentioned it a little bit ago about the Man Show. I watched the Man Show. It was hilarious. I'm also a big Adam Carolla fan. So Man Show, yeah, we should bring that back. I really liked the Man Show. It wasn't pull the license, it was block a merger. No, he literally said pull the license. Here, I'll go find the video. Let me go do that. Brandon, it's Brandon Carr, FCC. Bud Light was trash beer anyways. Facts. Let me see if I can find this video real quick and we'll just talk about it. I'll show you. Let's find it. Here it is. Let me bring it over here and then I'll share the screen and we'll watch it real quick.
Conduct.
Boom. Shout out to Benny Johnson because that's where I saw this. And then this went nuts. This went insane because a couple people posted it saying he's threatening to pull a license.
That has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel. It appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. As you've indicated, there are avenues here for the FCC. So there are some ways in which I need to be a little bit careful because we could be called ultimately to be a judge on some of these claims that come up. But I don't think this is an isolated incident. I mean, you go back to Representative Swalwell, and he had a tweet out last week where he was saying that, emphasizing that Charlie Kirk's killer was a straight white male from a Republican family that voted for Donald Trump. In some quarters, there's a very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people about the nature, as you indicate, of one of the most significant, newsworthy public interest acts that we've seen in a long time. And what appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick. And I've been very clear from the moment that I have become chairman of the FCC, I want to reinvigorate the public interest. And what people don't understand is that the broadcasters, and you've gotten this right, are entirely different than people that use other forms of communication. They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. And we can get into some ways that we've been trying to reinvigorate the public interest and some changes that we've seen. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
See, he threatened to remove their license is what I'm hearing. He did not say that explicitly. He implied that he will have their license removed. I don't agree with it. If they want that shithead on the TV talking the way he does, let ABC deal with the repercussions and Bud Light themselves. That's how this market works in America. We don't ask for government regulation. It's semantics for you. You can say whatever you want. This guy literally threatened to remove their license. Like, it doesn't matter. FCC regulation, threatened to pull it. You can do it the easy, the hard way. Doesn't matter. He's threatening to remove the license because of something Jimmy Kimmel said. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't. ABC should deal with the repercussions of the person that they have put on their broadcast networks and the crap they say. That's just the way it should be. But overall, the FCC shouldn't be doing that. And yes, the government was involved in it, and the government shouldn't be involved in that. The government should stay out of that. And I know you and I mostly agree on that. Like, this entire thing, we don't need to be getting the government involved. But overall, that's what I wanted to touch on. I've already given Kimmel too much time. He's already a waste of oxygen in the first place. But overall, FCC shouldn't have given that threat. FCC shouldn't be involved in it, in my opinion. I know they're a regulatory body of the communications and all of that, but I think it should go away. I wouldn't mind if we abolished the FCC. And I can really use a ham radio without having to pay my stupid license, pay for a license to the government. Stupid government. All right, let's get back into this. So that's the big deal with Sinclair Nexstar. Sinclair and Nexstar, there's about 70 networks, 70 channels spread across the country, and some in quite liberal states, which is surprising. That it's they're not going to have Jimmy Kimmel now. Nexstar is saying they're monitoring the situation. They're not for sure giving an answer. They're being vague. Sinclair is saying no. They're not going to. There's no plans, but to bring him back. But the part that I wanted to bring up also is a little bit of the donations here. Let me show you where Sinclair donated in the 2024 election. So you guys can see where is Sinclair right-leaning, left-leaning, whatever. This is from Open Secrets. They donated the most. And so we're looking at top recipients is Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. And the contributions is a decent amount of money, good amount of lobbying, all of that. But if you look at how it's all spread out here, it's more leaning liberals than it is to anybody that's more on the conservative side of things. So that's with Sinclair. So that tells you that. But Nexstar is one that's more right-leaning. So Nexstar favors more Republicans than they do Democrats at like a 53%. But they also donated a lot more money. And I'll pull that up real quick. Let's get that screen here. So with that, this is Nexstar Media Group, PAC contributions, federal candidates. Let's go to 2024. I was on 2022. So this one's a little bit different. Still about the same percentage, 54%, but less money. 2022 was more money, 377,000 versus 286. And so you can see here, 132,000 to Republicans, 109,009 to Democrats. Yeah, that's interesting. House candidates. But why doesn't that add up to this number up here? I just noticed 161,000 down. Well, not 61. Math is hard. That's 141,241. We're $40,000 short. Wonder why that is. But I wanted to show this because there's people out there saying, "Oh, they're left-leaning networks." It's a mix. It's not really all that way. Sinclair the gas station, sure. Oh, thanks, Kat. 3.1. That's awesome. Thanks everybody for sharing this out. I appreciate it. I can't see how many are watching from Restream for some reason. There must be a change with X. I can't see my numbers on the screen here, but if I was to go over on X, I can see it. But that's awesome. Thanks, Kat, for calling that out, and thanks everybody for reposting and sharing it out. I appreciate it. That's the only way we grow this stuff, and we start getting more conversations in here. Trump needs to get off it too, in my opinion. I understand that, Cassandra. 600 for scientific. All right, 600. That's all right. That's about normal. That's cool. Next topics. Let's get into this. Let's go Tylenol. So Tylenol, I was laughing yesterday because Donald Trump is just, everybody hates these people that hate Donald Trump, and your hatred for this individual, and you will do anything to try to spit in his face or protest against him. Like it is absolutely insane on how you are behaving. This is everybody that's on the left. Yes. Bust the algo. Bust the algorithm. Share it out. Even though he said just. But when it comes down to Donald Trump and the Tylenol thing, I'm waiting for a little bit more information. I would like to see all the facts released by them because I do question a little bit of it. I'll be honest. Is there a lot of it out there that could be true? Sure. I don't trust the pharmaceutical industry. I don't trust the FDA. I think they are both in bed with each other way too much, and they favor each other more than they do the health of Americans. So I would like to see big pharma really demolished in some way that makes sense, because we still need healthcare. We can't get rid of it. But we also need to dial in, like, or bring back how much big pharma has control over government and how they have their back pockets due to lobbying and the money in our government. And then we were just talking about media and Sinclair and Nexstar, and how big pharma is so in ties with media because they all have um, because you get the big pharma gets money from the government to do a bunch of this research and all of this stuff. They lobby politicians and get laws passed that favor them or loosen up laws just for them. And then big pharma also has all of this money. They can pay for the advertisements on TV, benefit them. And it's a big circle jerk amongst all of them on how they can all benefit each other and then screw over Americans. Like, most of you have heard me say this several million times, but when it comes down to it, we have to break this cycle. Big pharma is awful. I can't sleep without Tylenol. Oh, that sucks, Kat. I'm sorry. I don't think it's as extreme as it's being said, but a lot of it's being pushed around pregnant women, which I understand. Tylenol even has a post talking about pregnant women, saying they shouldn't be taking it. But I want to share this one video. There's nothing more dangerous than a pregnant woman with a fever. All right. I'll take your word on that, Scientific. I can't tell if you're joking on that one or if you're serious. But when it comes down to this Tylenol thing, this is where these people on the left are just insane. They will do anything to try to spit in Trump's face, and they're generally hurting themselves or their neighbor or someone that they love. And it's nuts. This lady here is not a crazy lady. She got messaged by a husband talking about his wife or fiance that is in the hospital on a ventilator. Now, take this for what it's worth. We can't validate this information, but if I could so see this is true, and this is why I'm sharing it, we have to break this cycle and stop thinking we have to be so against what this one person, orange man bad guy, and you start harming yourself or someone else. It's not a solution. Let's hear this real quick.
So it's
give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear that.
It's going to be 6 a.m. finally. And for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I recommend that you do.
Thanks,
I got
Scientific.
A very frantic call at 4 o'clock in the morning from a husband whose wife is now dying of liver failure on a ventilator in an ICU. Because she was trying to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism because of what Trump said on the news. Mind you, that's a Harvard study. Now, whether or not you believe the Harvard study or not is not the issue here. The issue is that she's somewhere between 23 to 25 weeks and she overdosed on Tylenol. And she's going to die. She's not going to come off that ventilator. And the guy got my phone number from somebody gave it to him. I mean, guys, it's early in the morning. I'm still in Hello Kitty sweatpants in my gym trying to work out. And she's going to die. It's going to be, let me tell you something about Tylenol overdosing and death, is that if you aren't administered the antidote, it is a very slow and painful death, okay? Because Tylenol, as well as Benadryl and aspirin, are the three most common OTCs that people will typically try to unalive themselves with, so I don't get censored. But now people are just taking massive amounts of Tylenol to prove Trump wrong. I mean, weren't these the same people who put Harvard and Fauci and the pillars of science on a pedestal? And now they refuse to believe it. Like, I don't believe it either. But I'm also not going to go overdose on Tylenol either. And it's just so sad because he has to make the choice of them going and trying to emergency deliver this baby. And the baby may not survive. Baby's going to spend a long time in the NICU. Hopefully the baby will survive. And remember, guys, preemies have complications even if they do survive. I didn't ask him if he had more children. So, I mean, let's say this woman they had more children. They lost their mother. Baby's not going to grow up with the mom. He lost his whole life if this baby dies too. All because of TikTok challenges, guys. Everybody wants like, well, not everybody, but maybe these crazy liberal women. They
Yes.
like literally hate Trump so bad that she killed herself and her baby potentially. I'm just like I don't even have words for this because it's such a waste of life. It's such a waste of life. Like
Facts.
this was a preventable situation. This situation didn't even have to exist. It wasn't like she woke up and was in a car accident, a freak car accident.
Right.
Or something fell off a building and killed her. She willfully did this herself. So I don't know. What are you guys saying? I've got to stay.
All right, we'll drop that there. But see, this is a story that when it comes down to these things, like people need to dial this back. And I'm getting more and more in favor of there's some people that shouldn't be involved in politics. They shouldn't pay attention to it. We've created so much disaster and chaos in politics today. Some people just need to stay out of it. They're not capable of handling the chaos that's coming from the political sides. And that's what they want. They want this chaos because that's how they can keep you guys controlled. That's how they can control us, is to keep everything in chaotic nature to where we don't really have time to unite. We're struggling to try to live, and we don't spend time with each other to try to figure out how we fix this because we have all of the power. We have the control in this country. And if they can create a chaotic place, they stay in power. We have to make sure we dial this in and keep our power with us. And these people are doing this, and we're always referring to them as crazy white liberals because it's commonly crazy white liberals. Like, it's just insane. I have a video that I'm going to show you here in just a minute. It's not crazy white liberals. It's some other crazy lady from the left going at Nick Shirley. And also a bunch of other people. This was just happened in New York. Nick Shirley just posted this video. And it's insane on what these people do. I can't even show the whole video because of what she's doing. She's taking her top off to get him in trouble for live streaming around them. Because obviously it's content that shouldn't be on social media. And so I bet we're going to see a lot more of that. It's the first time I've seen it on any of his live streams. And yeah, they were doing it today. I'm not going to show that part. I'm going to fast forward, just jump to the part to where you guys can see how crazy she is, but she remains clothed. But feel free, go to Nick Shirley's page. He's got it up on his page. Like he was at a bad spot in New York. This is the second time. He did it in June when I was in Florida. I remember watching it in the motorhome, and I'm like, I hope, I'm praying Nick Shirley gets to his hotel safely. Because he was in a very, very, very sketchy place. I don't believe you. You're free. You can go search for it yourself. Well, you probably won't find it. I'll send it to you. You use a Mac. You don't know how to search the internet. Oh, no. Did he pull it? No way. All right, hang on. He might have pulled it off the internet. Really? Nick Shirley. Look, guys, I'll show you. I saved the link so I could just jump right to it. I have the timestamp on my notes over here, and I will show you. This page does not exist anymore. Try searching for something else. Nick Shirley. I had this video. I should have. Damn it. All right. Let me see if I can find if he posted it and edited it, because he didn't edit it. On X, he didn't edit it. Nick Shirley, let's see. Why is Trump trying to prevent libertarian spectrum disorders? There's no cure. That's hilarious. Ah, here's one. Here's one. I wonder if, why did this? Let me see. Yeah, that. We want to jump to the timestamp of 150. Not that. This lady also has a very foul mouth. I am not going to play some of what she said. They are openly saying bad things about Charlie Kirk to try to get him to have some sort of response. And I'm skipping that part right there. Okay. Let me get this on the screen and we'll share it. We're going to go through it. This is what the freaking crazies on the left, or what, where did that go? There it is. The crazies on the left, or these are paid agitators. I could believe this lady right here is a nut job, and you're going to see it, as you can see. And Charlie Kirk died of a fentanyl overdose. That's what she's saying. It's freaking insane. All right, let's give this a listen. Let's make sure we got this.
Died of a fentanyl overdose. Charlie Kirk died of a fentanyl overdose.
No, he didn't.
That's what he died of.
These people are sick. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Wow. You hope I get assassinated? Oh, then get out of our country.
Oh, now they're going to back this up because Nick Shirley
He
was
just said
saying,
F our country. He said F our country. I would never touch you. I would never touch you. If you guys don't like America, leave.
The white people are illegal.
I am not illegal. I am not illegal.
Yes, you are.
I am not illegal.
The white
Just don't want anything happening.
What? You're the one who was saying death to Charlie Kirk. Look at you. This is the second time NYPD has had to pull me out because of how hostile these people get. I can't even believe this stuff.
yeah, so see, I couldn't show you the first minute and 50 seconds, but you can go to Nick Shirley's page and watch it. That's how much of a nut job these people are. These people are insane. And this is what the government wants. This is what the corrupt system wants. This is the evildoers. And they want a reaction out of Nick Shirley. They wanted him to react in a certain way. They wanted us all to react in a very violent response to what happened to Charlie Kirk. They want us to respond like that, but we don't do that. The Sister Act 5 trailer. When it comes down to this, like, this is how crazy things are, right? And this is why when it comes down to the government, like, I'm saying, you don't have to go and try to unite with that lady. There's no uniting with her. You will never be able to sit down and have a civil discussion. You'll never be able to find common ground with people like that. And so I completely agree. There's no uniting there. But when there's people that actually that you can agree with on most things, there's ways to unite. Like, Free and I don't agree on everything. Me and Scientific for sure don't agree on everything. Me and J-Riv don't. But we all respect each other. And that's what this is all about, is in this country, we can respect each other for having different views. We don't need to have everybody having the same views. That'd make this country and this world very, very boring if we were doing that. But the reason why I'm going on to this, to talk about the left and how crazy these things are and what they're doing against, like, anything Donald Trump says, the liberals go and do the exact opposite. Eat and consume ridiculous amounts of Tylenol, like we heard from that lady on that video. And then we have everybody that was with Trump, against Trump, that's all they want to do, anything against him. And so if Donald Trump was to come out like the meme I shared last night, he is pro-oxygen. I'm sure you're going to have liberals out there putting plastic bags over their heads. That's just what they do. But that creates this chaotic culture that we have in politics that I don't think some people should be involved in. I don't think they have the ability to handle this type of chaos. And this is where, like, The Atlantic wrote this article, and this was just put out on the 23rd, and left-wing terrorism is on the rise. Yeah, I would agree with that title. For the first time in more than 30 years, attacks by the far left outnumber those by the far right. This had to come out after Charlie Kirk because it was rising before then. But now that Charlie Kirk, something really bad happened, now some of the media can actually talking about it. Like that, we have this article here. I don't pay for The Atlantic, but we could read this first paragraph here that gets into it. Like, this stuff is some of the basic details. Studies we've compiled and analyzed data of 750 attacks and plots in the United States from January 1st, 94 through July 4th, 2025. So 750 attacks. We found that left-wing terrorism has increased since Donald Trump's rise to political prominence in 2016. Why is that? Is that because the entire corrupt system in our government was expecting to keep riding this gravy train? Not that Trump's perfect, guys. Like a lot of you guys know, I did vote for him, but I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he's really going to fix a whole lot of the things in government. I was hoping, especially with Doge, that's gone. Let's see if there's some revival of it. I don't know. But in 2016, Hillary Clinton loses, the freaking nut job Hillary Clinton, and look what's going on. We're seeing a rise in this shit. You had 2020, you had the summer of love, to where CNN saying it was mostly peaceful protest when you have buildings burning down behind them. Like, you want to talk about this now in 2025? Where was this in 2020 during the summer of love when a lot of this was at the peak? Because in 2020, that is when Kyle Rittenhouse had to run for his life when he was there at the protest just to protect a building. That's all he was doing, is out there to protect a building, to keep people from trashing it, vandalizing it, burning it down. He was just out there, and it turns out he had to run for his life because some CP or predator was chasing after him and was starting to start shit with him earlier on in the night, and then was really chasing him down. And so Kyle Rittenhouse had defended himself. And that was found in court. He defended himself. Nothing else. Everybody wants to say that was crazy. And then you had a felon possessing a firearm running up on him, laying on the ground, that shouldn't have had a firearm, and he got his bicep blown off. That is where these people are freaking nut jobs. You just heard one of them with Nick Shirley, and then you have the lady that just went over with Tylenol and taking that because Donald Trump said it causes autism, and so you're going to go and prove him wrong. Oh, you're going to do it all right. It's really stupid. 725, nice. Thanks, Scientific. Rittenhouse should be in Sister Act. Jeez, you guys are crazy, but that's all right. That's all right. Going on with liberal left nut jobs, let's talk about Ryan Routh and this freaking nut job that was convicted yesterday. He was convicted of 5 counts of attempting to assassinate the president. At the time, he was the leading candidate for president. He was not president. But when the conviction was read off, that he was being convicted guilty of all 5 counts, he tried to take a pen, and that's what this photo is supposed to be. Can I zoom in? There we go. This is a drawing of what happened. He tried to take this pen and stab it into his neck. He tried to take his life by stabbing himself in the neck with a pen when he was convicted. This guy is not mentally stable. Like, I'm still curious on how they found him mentally fit for trial, because there's still a million questions I have about him. Like, where in the hell was all of his silverware? Yeah, we're going to get to his daughter's video in just a minute, Cassandra. Why did Ryan Routh, like a backstory, Ryan Routh is from Hawaii. They went through his whole house. It was cluttered. It was messy, stuff everywhere. But a lot of them failed to mention, why is there no silverware? What in the world is the deal with that? And then you look at him, he was recruiting people to go and fight Ukraine in the wars, and was in Ukraine several different times. And I really think this guy was an MK Ultra subject. You just look at him, he looks like he was under some sort of control. He is not mentally fit, just like most of these crazy liberals, like, that are going nuts. Like a rabid Ruth. That's a good one. Rabies Ruth. Oh, that's where it's coming from. Oh my. This is how rumors start. And then, not to mention, that's the drawing. I just wanted to pull up from New York Post on what they were showing from him trying to stab himself in the neck yesterday. But backstory some more. A couple months ago, Ryan Routh's son was arrested for having child pornography on his phone. Like, Ryan Routh raised some great kids, apparently. Right? And Cassandra called it out about his daughter leaving court. And that's the next video and where we're going to end here. But this family is not healthy at all. They are definitely not healthy. She loses her mind on the media as they're following her. Like, yeah, I'm sure it sucks. Yeah, it does. But the part is it's more of what she's saying. It's not like she's just saying, get out of my face. She does say that, but she really is like saying that there were lies about her father. Lies. What was a lie? This man was caught with a rifle, rookie with a rifle, by the way. The barrel was sticking through the fence. That's how Secret Service saw it. And they were just doing their normal parole, headed up in front of Donald Trump golfing. They were up ahead on the right in the golf cart, and they saw a barrel of a rifle sticking through the fence, and that's how they caught him. Because he's dumb, and he stuck his barrel through the fence. Someone that knows how to use a rifle and does all of that knows you don't do that. You don't stick it out through the fence. You keep it back so no one can see you. But glad he did. So we caught him. But then this lady, his daughter, seems to think it was all lies. Like, let's hear this. So she is storming off, like really mad. You can see that. They follow her. Like, I don't necessarily care too much for the media following her around and recording her. Like, but I guess this is what this is. This is what they're paid to do. It's gonna happen. It's just what it is. You're in public. It's nothing wrong with that. Whatever, free. See, and she's just screaming random things, but as soon as she goes around the corner, you start hearing. What is she? Oh, her dad was in there. Okay, I missed that part. Right here.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Get out of my face. And all go to hell. It's all y'all's fault. Lies. Spreading lies about my father.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by lies? One more photo.
Wait for me.
Is there anything you'd like to say? What was that?
Can you repeat that, please? Just get out of the way so I can leave.
Get out of the way so I can leave. She's yelling at the media because they're following her. Fine, I understand. But you're in public. Your dad, high profile individual at this point, because a lot of people know who he is because of what he did. If you don't want to be in the media, don't go out in public. That's what it is. But they're gonna follow you around. It's public space. And what up, Audrey? Yeah, that video was Ryan Routh's daughter freaking out at the media, following her to the car after the court case yesterday of her father, and then saying the media is lying about him. I don't know what the media is lying about, but it doesn't matter. Your father tried to take the president's life. And we have only seen, we're going on just over a year from when the first attempt happened on July 13th, 2024 in Butler, Pennsylvania. So with us being at just over a year where we're at, and we just saw what happened to Charlie Kirk a couple weeks ago now. It looks like, yeah, we're coming up on it. But no, we are a couple weeks, September 10th. But this is not good. This is not a good path. And this is where I'm talking about the left-wing terrorism article that The Atlantic is talking about, and how crazy these people are in hating Orange Man bad. It's creating this chaotic culture and atmosphere in America to where I think some people should just stay away from politics. These people can't handle that. And This stuff is chaotic on purpose by the corruption and the powers that are trying to take over the free country and the world. That is what's going on. And we have to find ways to unite with those that we mostly align with. And we have to respect everybody's opinions. We got to. When it comes down to the crazies like these, there's no uniting with them. So don't even waste your time. Don't even argue with them. Just let them go and do their thing. But when it comes down to it, we got to be bringing others together and creating a movement and taking over our communities and growing that to where we can push back against the corrupt federal government that is slowly trying to take away our rights and tax us to death. Like, we have to start doing that. And that's where I was going to end it with the unity part and talk through that, but we started off that way. But that's okay. We have to find ways to get together with others and understand other people's point of views. Creating this chaos and perpetuating it out there more for the government, we're only doing their dirty work. 1,000 for wrong word and false name. All right. Kat, you spelled weirdo wrong. Yeah. I can't believe you said scientific is a treasure. Yeah, he is a weirdo. But overall, guys, find ways to unite with people around you. Find ways to bring people into your circle, understand them, listen to them, share your point of views, have civil discussions. That is what we need to be doing. And like Charlie Kirk has always said, in the sense, and I said this earlier on in the show, when we stop talking, that's when violence starts. So please find ways to do that. And if you're not capable of doing that in the moment, then just avoid the whole conversation, because we let politics really take too much toll, and we shouldn't let it, because a lot of this is federal politics. And you guys hear me talk about this all the time. Everybody's so caught up in federal politics and complaining about that, but nothing in federal politics is changing your property taxes. That's all local. And no one shows up local and really tries to do anything within their community. So start driving change where it really can impact you, and focus on where you can protect yourself from the corrupt federal government by growing a better community, having big politicians in your state that will fight against the federal government and not just comply because they got federal in their name, because it doesn't matter. The power is with us, not with the government. It's not a top down, it's bottom up. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. It's a weird world and where we're at and the stuff we're talking about. You have people with super TDS like no other. And hopefully we can get Elon and Trump to make up so we can get some more work done with Doge. I'm not holding my breath on that, but I'm hoping. But overall, we have to start communicating and uniting with our people that we're like-minded with and in our communities, and drive that change. That's where we need to be putting in our effort. Not worrying about Jimmy Kimmel and having his show back and doing a marketing for him. That's what everybody just did. That's what everybody on the right did yesterday. All of the marketing for his show coming back. We don't need to be doing that. Put your effort into other things and actually do it. Yeah, Doge free. Yes, Doge. And everybody can talk shit about Doge all they want, but I have seen all of the cuts because I actually work in the industry. So a lot of people can talk all of the shit, but they don't see it. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. There will be a show next week, but in a couple weeks, I won't be doing a show on October 8th. October 8th, I got some work stuff and it will be a late night. So I'll figure out another show to do that week. Check out Are You Smarter Than a Politician on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be a good show. I forgot the contestants' names that was mentioned yesterday. But it's always a fantastic show. Tune in to Freeze page. He talks all the shit in my comments because he's got to retaliate to me giving him shit on his game show on Tuesdays and Fridays. But on Fridays, it's great. Be there at 8 p.m. Eastern on Freedom for Us for All on X, and have a good time because it's a blast. Grab a drink, come and laugh. It's a good change with politics, is everybody can start tuning into that and enjoying the time. Scientific drops some fun fun shit in the comments. And the other thing that we do uniquely over there is the contestants are scored by the chat. So you get to have fun with it. J-Rose says, I'm telling you, Casey, these big accounts are being paid to advertise all that crap. They're the ones pushing it. I agree and disagree. I'm not going to say vaguely that all of the big accounts are that way. I've had personal conversations with some of these big accounts, and I don't believe it on some of them. So I understand what you're saying, because there are some, absolutely, especially on the left, because that's how they push a lot of their agenda. The right doesn't do it as well. And so on the right, there's not as many, I think, as on the left. But on that note, guys, we'll call it here. You guys all have a great night.